Just recently, Indian government published a report on a composite water management index. It's a very cool report. The reason I like this report because it's a very data intensive report, and anytime you have data, you can make sense out of it. You can analyze data, and once you have data on hand, you can make some policies. You can change the policies. My goal here is that the high schoolers, or I'm going to be very much specific here, the Indian teenagers, they need to understand about this data, this water management index, what this is about, what is the meaning to them, because this report describes about, out of this 29 states, what are the top performer, which state performed top, which state did not perform at all, and what can we do. And that's where my main focus is. What can we do to improve the water management efficiencies? But before we get into this detail about this report, let's just talk about simple things, simple facts about India. India's population approximately, I'm going to say approximately 1.35 billion people. And that makes India the second largest, or I'm going to say second populous country in the world, right after China. That also means that India is the largest democracy in the world. Now, area-wise, India is the 7th largest country in terms of area. Now, let's just move on to the next one. I want to talk about major challenges of India. And this is the list I have created, and I'm pretty much sure that you could add on to this 10 more. Okay, and here is my list: poverty, income inequality, unemployment, healthcare access, environmental and pollution, literacy, violence and intolerance, energy, hunger, corruption, housing and homelessness, and you can add one more: gender inequality. Now, what I want to do here is that I want to try to add here one more challenge here, one more issue here. Let's see. And that's going to be water. India does have water scarcity issue. And the reason I took away water out of this list because water has relation to all these challenges which I described. Here's an example: poverty and water. If you're poor, chances are that you may have access to basic water, or you may not have basic water. And even though if you have access to water, it may not be safe for drinking. Here's a second example: hunger and water. It's been said that approximately 80% of the water consumption, it goes to the agriculture industry. So all the food which you eat every day, vegetable, crops and everything, that has direct relation to the water. No water, no food on the table. The point I'm trying to make here is that water has relation to all these challenges which I describe here. So here is the homework for you, or here's the quiz, whatever you want to talk about. I want you to try to write down a position paper correlating water with all the topics, all the challenges which I mentioned here. Write the position papers, and you can submit your position paper at ngn.org. So there are the 11 topics I mentioned. And again, how about this? You don't have to stay with this 11 challenges or 11 major issues India is facing. You can add anything, but try to correlate with the water. Okay. Now let's just move on to the next one. Now, India, and there are millions of people that are living under high to extreme water stress conditions. And I'm going to put the number here. 600 million. Yes, 600 million people, Indians, they are living under high to extreme water stress condition. And I'll explain to you later on what is the meaning of water stress conditions. And in approximately 200,000 people, 2 lakhs. Annually, they died due to lack of access to clean water. Now, here's the worst part. It's going to get worse. So by 2030, the demand for water is going to be 2x higher than supply. Okay, and that is going to impact India's GDP, and it's been predicted that it's going to be approximately 6% loss. So you can see that how important it is to learn about water management, how important it is to learn about water scarcity in India. Now, it's not only India or Indian teenagers, they need to learn about water scarcity, because India is connected with the rest of the South Asian countries, right? And if any problem comes out in India, it's going to get impacted. All the neighboring countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, and they all are going to get impacted if India gets into the trouble, any kind of trouble, any one of these things, it gets into the large scale issues. And if Asia get impacted, guess what? Globally, every one of us can get impacted. So it's very important for all of us to understand about water scarcity in India. And this is one of the reasons we have created these goals, next generation nations goals. There are 21 goals, and the goal number 2 or goal number 2 is that guarantee access to safe drinking water and modern sanitation for all. And I'm talking about not just India, I'm talking about everyone should have an access to clean water. That's our goal number 2. And this is the reason why we are talking today about water scarcity in India. Stay tuned, and we'll talk more about causes and the impact of water scarcity in India.